dear students. Now we will proceed for next topic, that is the design of worm and worm gear. Now in this figure, now here in this figure, if we analyze, then this is the worm gear and this is the worm, and these are the different notations which we will discuss in next slide. So basically with rotation of gear or with the rotation of worm, the power is transmitted from one point to the another point. Either it may be transmitted from worm to worm gear, or may be transmitted from worm gear to worm. Now some important terms which are used in worm gearing, or when we are going to design some worm and worm gear, then these are important from the design point of view. So first we will discuss the axial pitch. Now here if we analyze this figure, then PA is the axial pitch. So basically it is the distance between a point, from a point to the another point on adjacent teeth. So in bookish language he is saying it is the distance which is made parallel to the axis of the worm from a point on one thread to the corresponding point on the adjacent thread on the worm. So if we analyze it, then from one point, let me say this point, from this point to the corresponding point of the another thread, one thread to the another thread, then this distance which is parallel to the axis of the shaft, this is the axis of the worm shaft. So then axis of the shaft parallel to the axis of the shaft is known as axial pitch. So generally your axial pitch is equal to the circular pitch. So we generally say your PA will be PC of wetting gears when the shafts are at right angles. So he is saying the shaft may be at right angles. Shaft meaning one shaft, the shaft of the gear will pass through your this point, and the another shaft point, the axis of the shaft for a worm is this one. So these shafts may be at right angle, or may not be at right angles. So this was the axial pitch. It is also known as, somehow he is saying it is also known as linear pitch. Then lead, it is the distance between it is the linear distance through which a point on a thread moves ahead to one revolution of the worm. So we generally say in case of lead, if we analyze the definition, and then the distance covered by a point on a worm during one rotation of the one revolution of the worm. So in this case he is saying it is the linear distance through which a point on a thread moves ahead in one revolutions of the worm. So let me simply say, if one point is here, so after one rotation this point will move at this point. So then this distance L is known as the lead. So in case of single start, you have covered in your tome as well as in your machine drawing the single start, double start, etc. So if it is a single start, then we generally say lead will be equal to PA. Lead is equal to axial pitch if it is single start. But if it is multiple start, double start, etc., then this lead will be equal to the product of PA into N, where PA into N, where PA is the axial pitch and N is the number of starts. So we can calculate L depending upon the number of starts. Then next is the lead angle. Now it is the angle between the tangent to the thread helix on the pitch cylinder and the plane normal to the axis of the worm. It is generally denoted by lambda. Now come to the point. If we analyze, then this direction, this is the one, let me simply say this is the thread, and any line which will be tangent to this thread will be in this direction. So in this figure, so these two lines, first this line or second this line, these two lines are showing us these two lines are parallel to the tangent to the or parallel to the thread. So here, according to the definition, the angle between the tangent to the thread helix, so this is helix, so tangent to the helix this line, and plane normal to the axis of the shaft of the worm. So this is the shaft and this is the axis of the shaft. This line is perpendicular to the, which is normal to the axis. So this is line is tangent to the helix. This line is tangent to the helix. If we analyze the one complete turn of the worm thread, then when it will complete one thread, rotation of one thread, then it will cover a distance which will be equal to the circumferential distance, and it will be in the form of an inclined plane. Now it means the total distance covered during one rotation, if there is any point, and the distance covered during one revolution of the worm will be equal to pi into dw. dw is the diameter of the worm. This is the desired diameter of the worm. So it means the peripheral distance will be equal to the pi into dw. Now from the geometry of the figure, if we analyze this figure, I am going to regenerate it here. So if we analyze this figure, then tan of your angle lambda, so tan of your angle lambda will be equal to lead, this is L, lead of the worm, divided by pitch circumference of the worm, pi dw. So tan of your lambda will be equal to L by pi dw, right? But L is equal to PA into N. N is the number of start. We have already covered in the last slide. PA into N. So sum of a single start we may also equate. If the axes are at right angle, then we simply say PA is equal to PC, and PC we have already calculated is equal to pi into module m. When we will put the value, then PC into n, and PC will be equal to pi into m into n. So then pi will be cancelled. Then here will be three parameters, mn divided by dw. M is the module and dw is the pitch circle diameter of the worm. The lead angle may vary from 9 degree to 45 degree. So it has been shown by F.A. Hasley. This was the person who have a lot of who have done a lot of work in the field of the worm gear and other gear design. So according to this person FASLey, that the lead angle less than 9 degree result in rapid wear and tear. So the safe value of lambda is always taken as 12 and half degree. So it means lambda may be, there may be variation between 9 to 45 degree, but for less wear we may select it 12 and half degree. Now for a compacted design, the lead angle may be determined by the following relations. That is, tan of lambda will be equal to ng by nw. Here ng is the speed of the worm gear and nw is the speed of the worm. So its power is 1 by 3. This is also from the design empirical relations given by some experts. Now next is tooth pressure angle. It is made in the plane containing the axis of the worm, and it is generally equal to 1/2 the thread profile angle. 1/2 the thread profile angle. Now tooth pressure angle phi. So this is tooth pressure angle phi. So phi is generally taken as 1/2 the thread profile angle. So here he is giving the relation in the table form, lead angle and tooth pressure angle. So if this is the lead angle in degree, 0 to 16, 16 to 25, 25 to 35 and 35 to 45. According to corresponding these values, the pressure angle may be 40, 14 and a half, 20, 25 and 30. This table may be given, this table may be given in your design data book by your Arun Kumar. Yes. So this first one, lead angle and the pressure angle, he is putting it, his notation is xi, but in our case in RS Khurmi he is taking as phi. To simply say the relation among these parameters, first and second, your pressure angle and lead angle, the relation is same, which is given in your RS Khurmi book. Then further we proceed normal pitch. Then this is the normal pitch. So normal pitch, it is the distance which is made along the normal to the threads between two corresponding points on the two adjacent thread. So if there will be any plane which will be normal to the thread, so then the distance between two corresponding points on two adjacent threads of the worm will be known as Pn, normal pitch. This will be equal to Pa into cos lambda. So Pa into cos lambda. So this is your Pa, this is your Pa, okay? Then cos into lambda. So your lambda is this value. Then we can simply say we can calculate the value of your normal pitch. He has not shown the figure, but if we will cut the cross section and we will take a plane which will be normal to the thread, then we can simply say the distance between the corresponding points on two adjacent teeth. So in term of normal pitch, the term normal pitch is used for a worm having single start thread. In case of worm having multiple thread, the term normal lead is used. So it means here he is saying if there is single start, the thread is single start thread, then we say it is a normal pitch. But if it is multi-start, then the name, the term which is used, this is known as normal lead. So normal lead will be equal to lead into cos lambda. Here the Pn was the Pa into cos lambda, Ln is equal to L into cos lambda. So this is Ln, this is your this is your Ln, this is your L is the lead, and this is angle lambda. So in between these two parameters, one is this side, okay, second is this value, this is L, and your this will be L n, okay, and this is the angle lambda. So from the geometry, when you will calculate, then you will find Ln by L will be equal to Ln by cos lambda will be equal to L. So next is the helix angle. So it is the angle, between the tangent to the thread helix on the pitch cylinder and the axis of the worm. So generally this alpha is the helix angle. So this helix angle is the angle between the tangent to the thread helix and between the axis of the shaft. So this is the axis of the shaft or axis of the worm. So between the axis of the worm and the tangent to the thread helix, the angle alpha is known as the helix angle. So it is generally denoted by AW. Now if we say helix angle alpha plus your lambda angle, lead here lead angle, so then lead angle plus helix angle, it will perform a 90 degree. So then the complement of lead angle will be the helix angle. So he is saying alpha plus lambda will be equal to 90 degree. It may be noted that the helix angle on the worm is generally quite large, and that on the worm gear it is very small. So for worm, it is the value of alpha angle, helix angle will be larger than the worm gear. It is usual to specify the lead angle on the worm and the helix angle on the worm gear. These two angles are equal to the 90 degree shaft angle. Okay, we have seen that alpha plus your lambda is equal to 90 degree. Then next is the velocity ratio. So we all know the velocity ratio is mathematically nw by ng. So nw is the rotation or ratio of the speed of the worm, and ng is the speed of the worm gear. So if L is the lead, dg is the pitch circle diameter of the worm gear, then your linear velocity of the worm is equal to L into n by 60. So we are talking about the linear velocity. So and the linear velocity of the worm gear, this is for worm. So linear velocity for the worm gear is equal to pi d n by 60. So since the linear velocity of the worm and worm gear are equal, then we will equate these two values, and then these two values will give us this relation. And if the pitch circle, we know that the pitch circle diameter of the worm gear will be equal to m into Tg. M is the module, Tg is the number of teeth on the worm gear. You know, Vr will be equal to, from this relation we may put the value of Dg equal to m into Tg. So here m into Tg divided by L. M module into pi, this parameter, this is replaced by PC. PC will be equal to pi into m, or pi m into is equal to PC. PC into Tg by L. So for single start, we say PC is equal to PA. So PA will be cut, then Tg divided by N will be the final velocity ratio. So here N is the number of start of the worm gear. From above, we see that the velocity ratio may be defined as the ratio of the number of teeth on the worm gear to the number of starts on the worm. So in this case, the velocity ratio is the number of teeth on the gear divided by number of starts on the worm. Now this is the proportions for design parameter. What will be the value of pressure angle, phi, pitch circle diameter for worm gears, which for worms which is integrated with the shaft, or then due to boring process, maximum bore shaft, hub diameter, face length, okay, then depth of your tooth, and then your addendum, etc. So these are for single and double thread worm, and this is for triple and quadruple thread worms. So these all values will be used in your design process. The pitch circle diameter of the worm in terms of central distance between the shaft x. So if we analyze, he is talking about this distance x. The distance between the axis of the shaft of the worm gear and axis of the shaft of the worm is known as x. The pitch circle diameter dw in terms of center distance x, so dw will be equal to x raised to 0.875 divided by 1.416. This is also from the empirical relation, where x is in millimeter. Keep in mind, x, your result will be in, we should be in mm. We will put the value of x in mm, then your dw will be in mm. So pitch circle diameter dw may also be taken as 3 into pc. Okay, the face length of the worm should be increased by 25 to 30 mm for the feed marks produced by the vibrating grinding wheel as it leaves the thread root. The face length of the worm, or length of the threaded portion. Now is talking about this one, LW. So length of the threaded portion of the worm should be increased 25 to 30 mm for the feed marks produced by the vibrating grinding wheel as it leaves the thread root. So for proper working of the worm and worm gear, we generally consider that the length of the threaded portion should be 25 to 30 mm more. So then this is the proportion for the worm gear. So in design we will see how we will calculate the normal pressure angle, outside diameter, throat diameter, face width, radius of the gear face, and radius of the gear rim. So these all parameters are shown here. R rim for, then RF, and your B, and DOG, DT, and your DG. So this is DOW, etc. So when we are talking about the worm gear, so then he is saying all parameters are proportions regarding the gear. So we will pick up the direct value from these two tables. This is from worm, for worm, and this is from worm gear. So these two tables are also given in your design data book as well as in Khurmi. this is the proportion of the worm, proportion for worm. This is proportion from the worm gear. Then various load stress factor we will cover in next topic. Worm gear teeth strength, etc. Now come to the point. Now we will proceed for the design. Of worm and design of worm gear. Now in case of design of worm gear and worm, so first we will calculate the strength of the worm gear. So strength of the worm gear teeth. So in the last classes, either it was the design of spur, helix and bevel gears, so we have seen that the transmitted load WT, that is the permissible tangential tooth load or beam strength of the gear tooth. This is given by the Levy's equation. So all these parameters are well clear to you from the last classes. I am not going to repeat it again. So CV is the velocity factor. So this CV will be on the base of this one, and your Y factor, Levy's form factor, this Y, or this will be generally taken from this value, either it is for 14.5 degree and then 20 degree involute, etc. So these two types are the system of the gear. So then these values are also given in your this design data book. The load, tangential load, WT and CV value and Y Levy's factor value. These are should be clear from this table. We may use it in our exam. So then next is the dynamic tooth load. So if we proceed for dynamic tooth load, then the dynamic tooth load on the worm gear is given by WD is equal to WT by CV is equal to WT into CV की value हम अगर put करें, if we are going to put the value of CV in the shape of V, so because here he is only saying where the V is the peripheral velocity of the worm gear in meter per second, then CV will be always there, and that is CV is equal to 6 by 6 to 6 by 6 plus V. So he is using it here in this portion. So WT will be the tangential load. Then the dynamic load need not to be calculated because it is not so severe due to the sliding action between the worm and worm gear. So the static tooth load or the endurance strength. Now we will proceed for the static load. First was the tangential load, second was the dynamic load, then your static load. So this value is also given in your design data book. This is here. Then where tooth load for the worm gear. तो स्टैटिक हो गया, डायनामिक्स हो गया, टेंजेंशियल हो गया, तो देन वी विल प्रोसीड फॉर वियर लोड. तो इन केस ऑफ लिमिटिंग और मैक्सिमम लोड फॉर वियर, तो इट इज इक्वल टू डी जी इंटू बी इंटू के. तो डी जी पिच सर्कल डायमीटर ऑफ द वर्म gear, B is the face width and K is the load stress factor. So this load stress factor, this is also known as material combination factor, so which is directly given in this table. So this table is also given in your design data book. If we clear it from this value, so this is the load stress factor depending upon the type of the material. and these are the type of the materials, uh, and this is the worm gear, this is for worm, and then your load stress factor will be K will be equal to this values, these values, the value is selected from this table. So then he is giving a simple rule: the value of K given in the above table are suitable for lead angles up to 10 degree. For lead angles between 10 degree to 25 degree, the value of K should be increased by 25%, and for lead angles greater than 25 degree, it should be increased by 50%. It means the value of K, that is the load factor, it will depend upon the lead angle, 10 degree, 10 to 25 degree, or 25 degree, more than 25 degree. So then we will simply say we will increase by 25% or 50%. So then next is the thermal rating of the worm gear. So thermal rating of the worm gears, to first we may say QG, this is the power lost in friction, will be equal to P into 1 means mu. So mu is the efficiency of the worm gear. Now come to the point. The heat generated must be dissipated through the lubricating oil. So we may also calculate the heat dissipation. So the heat dissipation capacity will be equal to A into T2 means T1 into K. So K is the conductivity of the material, T2 and T1 will be the temperature difference, and A is the area of the housing. The equation 1 and 2, this is the heat generated and this is the heat dissipation. We can find out the temperature difference T2 means T1. The average value of K is generally taken as 378 W meter square per meter square per degree centigrade. We will calculate the heat dissipation according to this relation. So this is depending upon the speed. If the speed is up to 2000, then we may also check according to this relation. So here x is the distance, center distance between two shafts. Here it is in meter. Keep in mind, here it is in meter in this relation. Other parameters are well clear to you. Then forces acting on worm gears. So now we generally say, if we analyze this one and this one, this is a WR and this is WT and this is WR. So in this case, this is WA and this is WR. So then your tangential force, axial force, tangential force is equal to WT into 2 into torque on the worm divided by pitch circle diameter dW. So dW by 2, let me simply say here. So we can simply say if we say dW, sorry, this is the pitch circle diameter of the worm. So this is the worm. So this is the side view of this worm. So generally say here WT into half of dW, that is the RW, will be the torque. So then WT into dW by 2 will give us the twisting moment of the magnitude, that will be WT into dW by 2. So then axial force, your WA, so we may also calculate here axial load, and then the radial or separating force on the worm, that will be equal to WA into tan phi. These all parameters are clear to you when we will proceed for some examples in the next class. Then the parameter will be clear to you. Now one thing which we have not covered in this total presentation, so this is the efficiency of the worm gearing. So here he is mentioning the efficiency of the worm gear. Here the efficiency of the worm gears is generally, the efficiency of the worm gear may be defined as the ratio of the work done by the worm gear to the work done by the worm. So work done by the worm gear to work done by the worm, this relation is also given in your design of gears. here. So the efficiency is equal to this relation. So we may calculate according to this. So then in the next class we will discuss some numericals from worm and worm gears. To then we'll proceed next for brake and for clutch. Okay, thanks, take care.